Hey, Pete here from TechMyStressAway.com, and welcome to the final part of the WordPress membership crash course, part 7. So in this final lesson, there's a few tidy up things I want to do, but the main thing is going to be testing the actual website. So we're going to add some navigation. I'm just going to cover a non-WishList integration scenario. So for anyone that doesn't use the integration part of WishList, then we're going to test the process. So we're going to go through the payment process and registering as a member. Then I'm going to show you how to cancel a member if someone contacts you to say they want to cancel the membership. And then the final step, we're going to switch Stripe to live mode. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sort out some of the navigation. So I want to add a join link here because I'm going to have the join page, the sales page, on a separate page. And then down here I'm going to add the lesson navigation. So this is for logged in members so they can navigate to the different lessons. If we go back to the WordPress admin dashboard, we want to go to appearance and menus. Now this is the main menu, so at the moment we've only got the home page link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the join page to the menu and save that. And then if we just go back and if we refresh it, and now see we've got the join here. Now you may want your sales page to be your home page. You can do that inside WordPress as well, and that is under settings and reading, and that's where you can set the static home page. So I would do that and then join like this. Now I'm just going to leave it as is. Now to add the sidebar menu, we're going to create a new menu, and I'm going to call this lessons. Click on create menu, and then I'm going to add lessons 1, 2 and 3. Now they've gone in a different order, so you can drag these and just reorder them. And click save menu, and then if we go into widgets to add it to the sidebar, actually it's already there, so I'll just remove that. And then if we go to navigation menu, put it underneath the login, I'm going to call it lessons, and then I'm going to select the menu, which is the lessons menu, and then click save. So if I go back to the site, this is where I'm not logged in, so I'm in an incognito window, not logged in. And if I just refresh it, now what we'll see is we've got this lessons section, but we can't see the lessons, and that's because we're not logged in and we've got no rights to access the content. So just a note there, you will see the title of the widget, but you won't be able to see the links. So when I register as a member in a bit, so I'll actually show you what it looks like when you can see the content that you've got access to. So if we go back to the dashboard, now if you're not going to be using any kind of integration, so like we're using Stripe on this for the payment processor, if say you wanted to handle the order process totally outside of WordPress, you didn't want it to have anything to do with WishList, or maybe you had a website where you had all your sales pages and then you wanted the members area to be on a different website completely or in a different WordPress installation, then obviously you wouldn't be able to integrate the payment processor with WishList, because WishList needs to be able to control the order button. So with this here, so if I went to join, this is a WishList button, but it's integrated with Stripe. So obviously if this was on a total different website, you wouldn't be able to add this because they wouldn't be able to talk to each other. So the main thing you need to know for that is if we go to the WishList member section, and then if we go to the level that we created and then click on that, if you remember the registration section, this is the most important part for you if you're not integrating with WishList. This is the thank you page. This is where they register. So however you deal with the payment process, this is where you need to send them after they've paid. This is the thank you URL. So just a note there if you're not using integrations. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to test the payment process. Okay, so now we're in an incognito window. This is important when you come to actually testing. So I'm using Chrome, so it's called incognito. Now if you use another browser, it might be a private window or something like that, but basically we want to do this so we've got no stored cookies or stored cache or anything like that. We just want to make sure that the testing process works smoothly. Now when it comes to your actual sales page, you may want to use something like Elementor, a page builder where you can control all the page, and then you can get rid of this sidebar, or in your theme you can get rid of this sidebar probably on this specific page. We don't want anything to take their attention away from actually joining, so that's just something to keep in mind. So if we click the Join Now button, we'll get the pop-up for Stripe. Now if you are using Stripe, I'm going to open up a new window and I'm going to look for Stripe test cards. And Stripe actually provides us, so we've got this here, testing Stripe payments. Stripe provides us with test card numbers, so you can have like a default US card. Now if you're in a different country, I'm in the UK, but I'm actually going to use the US process. But if you scroll down, you can see there's lots of different types of cards. You can do country specific cards, so that's totally down to you. I'm just going to use the standard 4242 test card for Stripe. So I'm just going to type in my name and email address. Now I'm going to actually use the admin email address, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Now if I just paste in the card number, you can put any future date for the expiry date and the CVC number. I'm just going to use 12345 for a zip code. And now if we click Pay Now, this is going to send the information to Stripe, process the purchase, and then it's going to send us back to the registration page. So now we can see we're back on the registration page for WishList. So this is the form that we set up with the thanks for purchasing. It's filled in the name and email address, and if we just create a test user, now I'm going to click submit registration. Now as we can see here, it's saying that the email is already in our database, so that's because I've used the admin email address for this site. So I'm just going to change this to test. So you're going to need to basically use a different email address than the one that you're using for the admin of the WordPress part of the site. And then click submit registration again. It's going to then redirect us, and it's taken us to the registered page. So this is the page that we set up. If you remember, when someone registers, they go to the registered page, and then we can see we have access to lesson 1, which is correct because they get access to lesson 1 for the first week, and then the second week lesson 2 will appear, etc. So if I click that, it's took us to lesson 1. Now obviously we've got no content in, you'll have all your content in, but this is obviously just like a skeleton site. I just want to show you the process. As we can see at the top, we can't see the WordPress bar because we've turned that off, so that's good. And if we see here, this has now changed to login, or logged in should I say, with the name. It gives them the option to log out. Now if I log out, it takes us back to the members page, and then if I log in again, see now this time it's took us to the logged in page. So again, remember we set up the redirect to the logged in after when they log back in after the first registration. So you just want to kind of go through this process and see what it's like as a customer, see if everything makes sense. It'll help you see it through their eyes. If there's anything you struggle with, it's something that then you need to sort out, and that'll just cut down on future support from the members. Now if we have a look at the emails that are sent, so I've gone into my email, and first we'll look at, this is the email for the person who's registered. So we can see here, it's come from my email. It's got congrats, you're registered. So if you change the subject line, obviously that'll be different. It's gone to the test email address, and then it's replaced my name, the course or the membership level, and then obviously the username, password, and then the link to the members area. So remember, we set all this up. Now I'll show you what the admin email looks like. So you as the admin will get the email that we didn't really change anything from. So as it's seen here, it showed us the name of the person, their email, what membership level they did, and their username. So this is the email for the admin. So it's always just worth checking them out, see if they all make sense and the edits that you've made all work. Now if we go back to the admin area, I'm just going to refresh this page. So we can see it's created a user. So this is the actual WordPress user section. So it creates them, like I said, as a subscriber in WordPress itself. That's how it works. If we go to WishList, we'll see, if we go on members, we'll now see that we've got the test member. Now, if someone contacts you to say they want to cancel and it's not done through like the payment process or anything like that, they just email you and say, I want to cancel my membership. So if you select their username, click on the select an action, and we can manage members here. So we can remove them from a level, we can cancel them from a level. Now you can see what all the different things are by looking at some of the WishList member documentation. You can delete members. So I'm just going to click cancel, and then you select which membership and then cancel from level. Now also what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Stripe account, and then if we go to billing and subscriptions, we'll see now it's showing it as video, because obviously when we did the payment process side of things, it accepted the email address. It was only when we went to actually register that I couldn't use that email. So we'll see here, it's telling us when the trial ends. So it's a 7-day trial. If you remember, we set up a 7-day trial, and then they're going to be invoiced $27 a week. Now if I cancel this subscription, and then we go back to WishList and refresh the page, we'll see here it's automatically cancelled it. So if you don't use the integration, or if the integration that you use doesn't let you cancel members when they cancel the payment, then like I said before, you're going to have to manually cancel the members. Now the last thing we're going to do to wrap up the video is I'm just going to switch to the Stripe live mode. So if you're not using Stripe, then this won't really matter to you, but obviously we're in test mode at the moment, and I'm going to switch it to live mode. So there's a couple of things we need to do that. So if we go to setup and go back into the integrations and Stripe, and then configure, now we need to replace our test keys with the live keys. So if I go over to Stripe and I go to developers and then API keys, and then I'm going to turn off test mode so I can get the live keys, and we'll see here it says live in the actual key. So I'm going to get the secret key, and then save and close. Now we will need to create a webhook in live mode. So if we go to webhooks, just like we did before, copy the webhook, and then add an endpoint, put in the URL, latest version, and then all events, and add the endpoint. Now what we also need to do is we need to create the subscription and the product. So what you can do is, if I go back into test mode and then billing, subscriptions, products, if you select the product, you can actually copy it to live mode, so it'll do it all for you. Copy to confirm. Now if we go into take testing mode off and go into live mode, we'll now see the product is there, and we've got the correct pricing plan. We'll see here, 7-day trial, $27 per week. And that's everything you need to do. So that's it for the crash course. I do hope you found it useful, and if you've stuck with me this long, I seriously want to thank you for watching. If you do know other people that may find it useful, please feel free to share. It helps. And again, thanks for watching.